Good Wednesday morning from the corner of Epworth and Lincoln. I'm Pastor Danny, and today's encouragement is going to talk about the things that we put in our lives. And maybe, we've been, I don't know. Is it 7 months? 7 months, something like that. We've been in this COVID world. And so it really literally turned our lives upside down. And so I am encouraged by what I'm seeing in folks, and as we adjust to this long-term thing that COVID is. But I'm reminded of a story, and you've probably heard this one before, but it's always good to kind of hear things again, because there's a story about a jar, big pickle jar. And so the professor takes this pickle jar and he puts some rocks in the pickle jars, and he asks the students, he says, can I, he fills it all the way to the top, and he says, can I fit any more in? And the students are like, well, no. And so then he gets a thing of smaller rocks, or marbles, and he pours those in, and they sort themselves in around the rocks, and they fill it even more in between the cracks, and then he asks the students, he says, okay, so is it full now? And they say, oh, yes, can't fit any more in it. And so then he takes a thing of sand, and he pours the sand into it, and the sand goes down and it fills the cracks in between, the pebbles or the marbles and the rocks, and he fills it to the top, and he shaves the top off it, and he asks the students, is it full now? And the student's response is, yes, you can't fit any more in there with the sand. And so then he takes a cup of water, and he pours the cup of water into it, and it soaks down through the sand, okay? And then he asks the question, is it full yet? And so it demonstrates that even though we might think our lives are full, there are things that there are little pebbles or rocks, there's sand, there's water that we are filling our lives with, and we need to be careful about that. Now, the thing about COVID is that on March, for the church, it was like March 13th, March 18th, I don't even remember anymore, is that we took the jar and we dumped it out, and we had a fresh jar. And so, if we had poured sand into it, or poured water into it, there would be no room for anything else. And so, we have been putting rocks back in, the things that matter, the things that are core to our Christian faith, and we've been very careful about that. And so it is full, and so now we're putting some marbles in, and we're starting to maybe add some sand here and there, so that the jar that is the church is full. Some of the rocks don't look like the rocks that we had in there before. It's just different. But the question is, are they the right rocks, and are they effective rocks? And so that's what's happened as a church. It's what's happened for me as a pastor. And so what I'm going to challenge you to do today is that look at your jar. Look at your jar, and if back in March or February, whenever you locked down, when you dumped out that jar and you set it back up, what did you fill it with? Did you fill it with rocks? Did you fill it with sand? Did you fill it with water? The good news about the jar is that if we look at it today and we decide, you know what, I filled my jar with a bunch of sand, things that aren't really of great value. Watching 24-hour news, watching this, maybe we need to and start over and do a reset, because we're going to be in this COVID thing for a while. And so I would encourage you today to look at your jar. What's in your jar? My prayer is that you're encouraged by what's in your jar. The hope is that the jar can be changed. So today, be blessed, be encouraged, and have a blessed day. Amen.